Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. Just real quick, I wanted to come by and show before I got into this, because it's maybe the last of my old copper. These are silver and gold. That's not a very good show in the plastic, but in the 1 pound blocks. Just the regular silver and gold Primo clay. These are all Primo accents, and some of them are the new colors. This is the antique gold, the Primo accents antique gold, and I'll show you the difference out of the package. This is the regular gold, and this is the antique gold next to it. Really completely different. And then I've also got the 18 karat gold, which again is another completely different. I haven't opened it yet to play. I've got ones in the oven of both of these. This is the bronze, again, one that's new to me. All of these four right here are all new to me. This is the new copper. Let's see. The writing is so small, I'm not sure you'll be able to catch the number on there. That's the new copper. This, you can read that or not, is the old copper. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the difference. Wow. That's a completely different animal. This is the old copper, and look at it compared to the bronze. Much closer. Of course, I don't know what this is going to look like baked. My timer actually just dinged. So as soon as it cools just a little bit more, I'll get up and take it out. But I think this may be the last of my old copper. Maybe. But I did go ahead and get 2 of the new ones. So I can't wait to play with that and see what it looks like. Play with this, see what it looks like. Just played with that and that, so we'll see what those look like as soon as they come out of the oven. And I'll show the comparison with all of them after they're baked. So, there we go. Just a quick intro into what I'm going to try to come back and show. And the most surprising one to me is the copper, because that, compared to that, wow. This does look a lot more like what you would expect a copper to look like. Maybe a little bright, but for like a copper penny, much closer than that. This is almost a red, and when it bakes up, it's a very rusty red color. So, alright, I'll be back. Okay, back to this. Let's see what we can come up with. If I scream, it's not a job, I promise. I asked my husband over the weekend to put water in the fish tank, because what he'll do is he'll run the water hose through the window over here and add water to the fish tank, because it evaporates really fast. Between having the fireplace going, the heat going, and the fact that it's just Texas, it really does evaporate fast. So, that being said, he didn't do it. So yesterday when he came home from work, again, I asked him, please, if we could add some water to the fish tank. And again, he didn't do it. So now, because the water level's too low, the pump has quit. The waterfall filter. And because I'm only 5 foot tall, and the fish tank is probably about 4'8". I can't reach over the back of it to get the pump going again. So I'll have to wait a couple of hours till he gets home. I told him over the weekend I wanted to go buy a new one, because this one has never worked as well as it should, and it just needs a bigger one. So my fish is making noise, the aquarium is making noise, and now that made a weird noise. Alright, here's what I'm doing. If y'all can see anything going on this messy desk, oh my gosh. I've got all my cutters out here. Well, I've got some of my cutters out here. And some of the new clays I was talking about. And we're going to see what we can come up with. Alright. This is the regular Primo silver. And I'm just making some like connector pieces. So they've got a hole running through them. And these are made in 2 parts. And a lot of times you'll find if you're working in polymer clay, it's easier to do things in 2 parts and bake them separately than it is to try to do it all at one time. And I'm going to give you an example. I've cut out these shapes. Let's see. The gold. And this is the antique gold. Primo. This is the, whatever the next color one is called. I don't know. I think this is just the regular gold. This is just the Primo gold that I have in the 1 pound block. And then this is the bronze. And on both of these I have yet to I've yet to glaze this side. This side's glazed. This side isn't. There's not that big a difference, but there is a little bit. And same thing on these. Haven't glazed this side. Haven't glazed this side. But I have that. Okay. Alright. So what I've done is I took my circle cutter, cut out 2 circles. Then I took my oval cutter, cut in the middle. After I did that, these are rolled out on my pasta machine. It is, I think it's a 5. And on mine, the 9 is the thickest, and the 1 is the thinnest. It's an Amico. My pasta machine is an Amico. My clay roller. I got it at Michael's with the, back then I think it was a 50% off coupon. So after I rolled these out, and of course I've already got them stuck to the glass, dadgummit. After I rolled these out, on the other side, I took my little wire, hat pin, a pin, your pokey tool, anything like that will do. And what I did was I laid it down where I want my hole to go through the bead, and I indented it into the into the clay. Sorry about that. Infamous dry spot. So while the wire is still in the little groove that I made, I flip the bead over onto my glass here, and I just hold onto the wire lightly, and I take the end of my acrylic roller. You can take anything rounded on the end like that, and I hammer the surface to give it that look of hammered metal. So now you've got these hammered O's, we'll call them, with a little groove. There's a good shot of it. Goes up through there. These will get baked. This is, sorry I keep having to look around the camera. I've got it on my little mini tripod in front of me, which I don't really like to use only because the tripod itself is not very sturdy. This is the 18 karat gold, which for me is a completely new color. I have not tried this color at all. So, let me get my blade. Gosh. Total fumble fingers today. And because this is Primo, and it's Primo accents on top of that, you can see it is just about ready to use out of the package. There we go. Now I could roll this with my clay roller, not a problem, but because I do have a pasta machine and it's right here, I'm gonna use it. So I just work on a piece of glass. I've said before. This time what I'm gonna do, because I do have a bunch of cutters, if I can find the right one. I've got a heart cutter out here and a flower. Let's see. That's a 6-petal flower. Won't really do the same job, so we'll go with the heart. Alright. I've got a large heart cutter and a small heart cutter. And for me, this is hard to do when I'm not directly over the clay. To try to get this heart centered in the middle of that heart is just darn near impossible for me unless I'm right over it. So, sorry while I'm out of frame a second. Alright, so here's what we've got. Now, I'm going to excuse my towel because it's filthy. I'm going to turn it, I flipped it over, so now I've got the sharp edges as opposed to the rounded edges facing up. And then, you know, I'll set my little wire down and it becomes invisible once I set it down. There it is. Alright. So I'm just going to line it up. The center of the heart there, down to the tip. Now I don't want to press too hard. I don't want to go all the way through it. Just enough to make a good, I'll go ahead and take it out. Just enough to make a good indent. Then I'll take this off the glass, or your foil, or whatever you're using to bake on, your ceramic tile. I keep telling myself to stop in Lowe's and just grab a few ceramic tiles so that I won't keep blinding y'all. But have I done it? No. Okay, so again, like I said, I've just got it on the glass. Hold on to the little wire just so it doesn't jump around. And I'm just going to hammer it. And when you think you've got it, go at an angle. Get your edges. So sorry. There we go. Let me check. Yeah, it's pretty good. If you look at it, you can usually see if there's a spot or two you've missed. Anything like that. So basically, after I pull the wire out, that's ready to bake. And of course I do 2 of them at a time so that I get my pair finished. But it will take 4. You have to do 4 of them, because after these bake and come out, you're going to take the baked one, you'll see, and stick it on top of the clay and cut out another one. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one so that we can stick these in the oven. The other color, I said this in the first little part of the video, this is the copper, the old color of copper, which now looks like the new color of bronze, sort of. This is the new copper. Really excited to try this because I have not tried it either. So the 18 karat gold, the copper, and this antique gold are all new to me. Oh, and the bronze, I'm sorry. And the bronze. Those are all new to me. I've not had a chance to use them. And it is hot, hot, hot in my studio. It was hot yesterday, 85 degrees. And it's hot today, and it's only 60 something. 50 something. Probably 50 something. We had a little cold front come through. So it was in the upper 30s this morning. It's not bad for us. It's way better than 12. And these little punch out things, you can save those and do all kinds of stuff with them. And again, flip it over. if I get my palette knife, I can actually flip it over with the piece of wire still in there, but it's just as easy for me to stick it back in there. And you would think that the little groove that we make in there would close up when you bake it, but it doesn't. Alright. I just give it a little twist, get it loose, and then pull it out. So, 2 sets. And I'll go ahead and make a set out of the copper off camera and stick that in there too so we can see what it looks like. But I'll go ahead and show you. Here's one of these. I'll just take my hat pin just because it's a little stiffer. Make sure I line it up with the other hole. And there you go. So that's what they'll look like. And of course you can take and put beads. You could fill this with seed beads of different colors. You could take a bugle bead, one of those twisted bugle beads would be gorgeous in there. So all kinds of options for in there. Or you could even take a head pin and a head pin and then loop them on the end and have nothing on the inside. Have the inside be completely open. You could do that also. So I just really am trying to fill up one of my bead boxes with already prepared beads, objects, whatever you want to call them. Already prepared findings, so to speak. So I've got these 4 that I already made, and then we're going to have those 3 more. So I'll have 7 sets of a little hammered faux metal doodads, beads. I hesitate calling something like this a bead, even though I'm sure that's probably what you'd call it. So, beads. Lyn, just call them beads. So, alright, I'll save my other half, of course, for the next step. And I'll be back. Okay, and real quick, just because I thought about it, I just took my little square cutter here, which is actually not very square, and then I cut around it, trying to leave the same amount around on each side. But on one like this, of course, you could go this way or this way, or even like so, off center. So squares, rectangles, circles, they all have a lot of possibilities on how you could have them hang. So I think for the sake of continuity on this one, I'm just going to do regular like I did the rectangles. And it wanted to stick just more than that wanted to stick to my glass, huh? Alright. Kinda weird. There we go. Alright. And flip. I want it to be pretty far away from the other one, just because once I start hammering, I want to mash the wrong side of the other one. And always remember, if you're afraid of trying polymer clay the first time, the best thing about it is, until you've baked it, there's no messing it up. Because if you think that's messed up, mush it. Mush it and do it again. Over and over until you think you like it. And then even after you've baked it, if you've watched very many of my videos, you'll see I'd rather fix it than throw it away. So I will keep trying until I fix it, if that's possible. Alright. Come on, stick. It's so funny because as your clay gets hot, I just told my husband last night, alright, when I start bitching about that it's hot in here, it's not because I'm hot. It's because the clay becomes almost unworkable the hotter it gets. It gets so sticky. So today I'm at the point of between sticky and not wanting to stick. So. Alright. And if you have trouble and you can't find one of these thicker, heavier acrylic rollers, I did get mine at Michael's quite a while ago. They also have it's got a cobweb on it where my grandson was playing with it. This one came with a cheaper clay set, and if you can see, it's just a hollow PVC pipe. It's thick, and that works just fine as well. A glass jar. Don't use a rolling pin unless you have a plastic one, or a glass one, because the clay will stick to the wood eventually, no matter what you do. They really aren't very good friends, clay and wood. So, alright, there we go. We've got squares, hearts, and O's. I'm going to stick these in the oven, and then I shall be back. Okay, here these are out of the oven. Just little thin. You would not be able to use them for beads the way they are. They're very flexible, would probably break pretty easy because of the crease down the center. So be a little careful with them right at first. While I was working on these, the copper ones that I was talking about, what I was calling the old copper is actually one of the ones I was smart enough to still have the wrapper for. Just regular Primo copper instead of the Primo Accents copper. Lesson learned. Enough said. Alright, what I've done is I've taken a piece of this copper and cut the same hole in it. Now I'm going to sort of line this up. And of course you can just lay it on there and cut the square out just by tracing the hole you've already got. You'll just have to accommodate a little bit for your rod running through the center. Alright, so I've got it on there. And of course, that being said, this is what I'm going to do for the outside. And if you'll see, I just stuck my blade underneath the wire just a little bit. If you do that both directions, it'll cut all the way through. And don't you love how I saved the square to show, because it's the it's the easier one. With the oval ones that I already had done, I went ahead and cut the shape out just like I did the first time, and then just lined it up on the back side. And then same thing with the rod still inserted. Hammer your texture in. Alright, and then turn it over and show you where you've got a little bit of squeeze out. You can mash it together and then start to smooth your edge just a little bit. Now, what I would do that I didn't show and I didn't do on this one, if you have it, is put a layer of liquid Sculpey between the two pieces. And that will ensure that your pieces will bake together. More than likely when you have this super soft clay like this, and because I'm hammering them together and stuff, they're going to stick. And then of course after they are baked, see if I can show you. These are the antique gold ones. After they're baked, what I did was I took some gold rub and buff. I took some gold, Inca gold, and rubbed on there and then buffed it. And what that does is it gives you a nice, I don't want to say waxy, but it gives you a nice smooth waxed finish that will kind of resist the black acrylic paint that I use for the antiquing. In this particular instance, it's antiquing gel, which is just a acrylic paint that's got some gel retarder in it so that it dries slower. Gives you ample time to wipe it back off. So I do that, I paint that on and then rub it right back off. And as you can see, not a lot sticks. It does stick around the edges and on the inside. And then after that's dry, I go back with, it's actually a Subway napkin. I save them every time my husband and I have Subway. And then I go back and I buff it again. And so really the Inca Gold almost becomes like transparent. So I'll show you the difference. This was the same Inca Gold used on both of these different colors of gold. And as you can still see the different color of gold very clearly. It didn't really change the color of the clay. Now, if you turn it, of course, you're going to see the same reflective gold, but it's transparent enough you can still see the color of the clay through there. And then they're glossed with the Rust-Oleum, whatever it's called. I've showed that in the tinting, sanding, the tinting, baking, sanding, and glazing, I believe it's called. Something like that. It's Rust-Oleum Ultimate Polyurethane. And this is the satin because I'm out of the gloss. My can was empty. But here is the important part. It needs to say soap and water cleanup. You want the water-based version. Water-based. Because solvent-based products react with polymer clay. So, water-based is what you want. So, alright, here we go. All I need to do is stick this one in the oven after I finish the other one. And then when they come out, like I said, let me show you. I just took my gold rub and buff I'm going to say it again. My gold Inca Gold. Wow. I don't even have Rub and Buff. I was just watching something about it, though. So that's why it's stuck in my head. So I took my gold Inca Gold, rubbed it on, let it sit and dry for a minute or so, buffed it back off. Then I went over with my black acrylic paint, because trust me, it works just the same. And then wiped that back off. And then after that little film that's left dries, go back and buff the Inca Gold again. And then put the gloss glaze on, and there's what you get. Here's the bronze ones. Now, if you've watched very many of my videos, you probably know me well enough that I'll probably get some of my Lindy Stamp Gang sprays out and do some other funky stuff to them. But until I use them, they're going to stay just like they are. And here's the silver ones. So, alright, these will look just like that. This is the Primo regular copper, as I discovered. This is the Primo Accents copper. And this one, what did I say it was called? I believe is the 18 karat gold. Yep. This one is called the 18 karat gold, or called 18 karat gold. So quite a bit different than the antique gold. Or the gold. So, alright. That is it. I will have me 3, 4, 7 sets. 7 sets of beads to go in my box just for random occasions, which is what I want. I need to really spend a week and sit down and do that, make some focal beads and stuff. So in my process of play and experimentation, I will probably come back and share something else, because I'll get my embossing powder out again, and I love using it on clay. I was just gonna say I could put embossing powder on some of these. It looks so awesome. So I'll be back. And I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.